What's up guys, Luke here with Kickass Audio, and today I thought we'd do just a little bit of a walkthrough of our first product, the Hidden Gem IR Pack. So I thought we'd go through all the different microphones and kind of explain the process behind creating the pack, and also why we think this is the best IR pack you can get. But before we do that, maybe just let the IR pack do the talking itself. As I said, Hidden Gem is the first IR pack from Kickass Audio, and we do things a bit differently, okay? Our goal is that we want to make getting larger-than-life guitar tones as accessible and easy as possible for everyone. What most companies do is they take a single microphone, throw it in front of one of the speakers, and give you a bunch of different options and call it a day. And, you know, that's kind of analysis paralysis, especially for beginners. And it's just too much choice, you know, and most of those options are kind of useless in the first place. That's not what we do here at Kickass Audio. We do things a bit differently, okay? So what we do is we start off with some of the world's most legendary and sought-after speakers, microphones, and cabinets. And we use our decades of expertise and engineering experience to capture all of these as best as we possibly can, and then we do a bunch of post-processing and add a little secret sauce on the back end. Finally, we wrap it up in a nice pretty package and hand it over to the end user, and what you get is that you get an IR pack that's super easy to use. You can literally pick any one of the random IRs and go, and each one of these is curated, and the combinations are quite literally larger than life and not possible to do in the real world. The largest studios in the world could not replicate some of these tones, and that's what makes Kickass Audio special and unique. And these things are mix ready, okay? For the studio, for the stage, you know, if you're recording, mixing an album, playing out with your band, just jamming at home, you know, whatever. These are ready to go. You can load them up into an IR loader. You can put them in like something like the Helix over there. You can put them in a plugin on your desktop, whatever you want. These will work, and they will work extremely well, no matter the use case. So I'll get into the actual digital on-screen portion of the IR pack in a second, but I wanted to talk about the actual recording of this pack because each experience is completely unique and there's different goals that go along with each capture. So these cabs are two of my personal cabs, and I wonder which ones they are. So I love these cabs, and the cool thing about the Hidden Gem is that it's a dual cab pack. We're starting off giving people basically a cab for free. So it's a 412 and a 212 made by the same boutique US manufacturer. Super high quality cabinets. The 412 has V30 speakers from like that golden era. They're from like 2002. These cabs sound absolutely phenomenal. And the reason why we included two of them is because I actually run both the 212 and 412 at the same time. Reason being is that they're kind of meant to go together. The big 412 is kind of scoopy in the mid-range, whereas the 212 is very punchy in the mid-range. And so they kind of slot in together a little bit and just kind of give you like that massive wall of tone. But they also sound just as incredible individually. And again, that goes back to what Kickass Audio does. So right off the bat, you'll notice there are just immediately three folders to pick from, the 212, the 412, and then those two combined for some fun blends. There are also some blends within these folders here. But being that this is a dual cab pack, we wanted to avoid the analysis paralysis, but we did want to give you individual options for each cab along with some blends. So there are also some blends within each cab folder itself. So we've got the 412, we got the 212 here, and then we have some fun blends. And let's kind of work backwards from like most ridiculous to the individual microphones. Let's go ahead and do some high gain guitars with the Ultra Cab. I think you could probably agree that sounds absolutely massive. So this is what Kickass Audio is all about. We just want to go for the absolutely over-the-top, absurd tones. So we can't tell you what went into the Ultra Cab, but it was a lot of processing. Like, we spent a lot of time making this thing a reality. And then there's a couple other fun ones here, like Luke's Blend. I can't remember exactly what microphones I used. I want to say it was definitely the 57, the 414, the RE20, and maybe the 121. I don't remember exactly, but you don't need to worry about it. You know why? Because it sounds awesome. And then there's kind of a utility one with the 57. We figured people like the 57. A lot of users are probably going to want the 212 and 412 together with a bunch of 57s. So let's just give it to them right here. Let's go ahead and get into the individual cabinets. I think what I'm going to do is do some high gain rhythm guitar tones first, as you've been hearing. We'll keep those kind of pan stereo, just for like that big wall of tone kind of effect. I find you can kind of hear like high gain tones a little bit better that way. But then we'll do like a mono channel, crunchy, bluesy rhythm guitar tone thing. We'll do some clean tones, and then we'll finish up with a solo. So kind of some lead playing. So let's start with the 412 here. And I'm just going to rapid fire through all the microphones, and then I'll talk about some of the standouts afterwards. So let's get into it. All right, so that last one, yes, we included a room IR. Reason being is that it actually adds a ton of thickness and depth to your playing. We'll go ahead and wait for like the solo for that, but that's a really fun one. And fun fact, that was actually a room capture of this exact room when there was no treatment. It was just a completely bare room before I built it out into a studio. So a couple of the highlights of the microphones. The C414, love it. There was no low pass on this, so it's just a huge, beefy sounding microphone. If you just need to add like a stupid amount of low end to your tone, this is the one that you want to blend in there. This M160 here, I don't know if it's like broken or what, but I've never heard an M160 sound like this. I think it's just the particular one we have, but I ended up loving it. It's got this cool kind of chewy mid-range, almost like a radio effect. That was a really fun one just to throw literally anywhere, no matter what tone you're doing. It just seems to always sound good. 121, fantastic for leads and cleans, kind of a rolled off, smoother top end, lots of bass, lots of mid-range. This RE20 here, this was a real standout to me. I did not expect to fall in love with this microphone like I did, but it's just got this really crunchy industrial top end. It's kind of sizzly. I love it. It's kind of scoopy. But, you know, if you're going for like the early 2000s kind of nu metal tone, this is a great one to use. And then rounding things off with the good old 57. Can't go wrong with the 57. And then the Mega Cab. So this is the 412, again, with a lot of secret sauce, a lot of post-processing. Can't tell you what microphones we used, but it's absolutely awesome. And fun fact, this is actually the free IR you get when you go to kickassaudio.com. Yes, that's right. You can get a free IR. All you got to do is go to kickassaudio.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage, and you can get this IR from the Hidden Gem pack. It's the Hidden Gem 412 Mega Cab, and you know, we've seen a huge positive response from the end users. People are loving this thing, and rightly so, because this cab sounds absolutely phenomenal. And moving on here, let's go to the 212 here. Same thing, just gonna rapid fire go through the playthrough real quick. So I hope you can agree with me. I'm kind of laughing because I get so excited about this. That's possibly the biggest sounding 212 I've ever heard. And it's not a particularly large 212, but it's just tuned so appropriately to the speakers that are in it that it just sounds absolutely massive. You know, this thing sounds bigger than a lot of 412s I've recorded. And then the Hidden Gem 412 is just over the top. As you can hear, this has a lot more mid-range, kind of a sizzlier top end. It's not as smooth as the 412, but this cab is really, really good for clean tones and also lead tones if you just want to punch right through the mix. And like I said, we'll get into those tones. And again, kind of some of the standout ones. If you just want things that sound super gnarly, go for the 421 with the 212. That one is awesome. I also kind of like the i5 and the 609 for vintage tones with this cabinet. As you can see, you know, there's not a lot of options in terms of the microphones. It's more so like pick the appropriate cab and microphone for the tone that you're going for. Again, we wanted to avoid just scrolling through endless lists of, you know, here's 12 different options per microphone. All right, so that's been a lot of talking so far. Let's go ahead and do kind of a crunchy rhythm tone here, a little bit lower gain. And once again, I'm just gonna run through the entire cab pack here real quick, just so you can hear every single option. So I'll stop talking and let you listen here. And like I said, we're gonna start backwards and go from most ridiculous down to some of the single microphones on the single cabinets. So let's get into it. So goes by a lot faster when I stop talking. But so that was the entire run through on kind of the crunchy tones. So as I said, I want to talk about this room IR because I'm actually really excited for this room. So as I said, we encourage people to blend these. So I've got the 212 Mega Cab on channel A here, and then the room on channel B. And listen to how much depth is added to the guitar tone when we start blending in a little bit of room. You don't need a lot. You don't want it to kind of get washed out, but it does add so much to the tone. So you can hear that has a pretty drastic effect, to be completely honest. Like I said, just even blending in a little bit, kind of like a 75-25% split, adds so much character and depth to the tone. You know, even for like high gain, you just add a little bit of that, you know, you kind of get some of that Linkin Park flavor where you can kind of hear, it sounds like the walls are literally shaking. And I can promise you they were, because when we recorded these cabinets, we recorded them loud. Those speakers were moving and these walls were rumbling. So yeah, you kind of get some of that effect back. It kind of sounds like, you know, it is a large, loud cabinet in a room. Clean tones, let's go ahead and do the same thing. I'm gonna run through the whole pack really fast. So there's the clean tones. It's a little bit more of like an edge of breakup tone. So a little bit of power tube saturation in there, but you can really even hear, even on the clean tones, so much character of those microphones is coming through. Each of one of them, these are the same cabinets and same speakers, but the microphone characters are really shining through, and it completely changes the guitar tone, even on something like a clean tone here. And I do want to point out how good the 412 sounds for the clean tones. Normally you don't associate 412s with clean tones, and obviously the 212 is absolutely killing it here. I use the 212 all the time for cleans, but the 412 just sounds so good for cleans. You know, that smooth top end and, you know, kind of really deep bottom end is really showing through with these. You know, so if you have a thinner sounding amp for your clean tone and kind of need to thicken it up a little bit, the 412 is going to be your go-to. And, you know, vice versa, if you're using like a 100-watt head that has a ton of low end on the clean channel, you know, maybe try the 212 and, you know, get more of that vintage vibe back. And same thing I did a moment ago. Let's go ahead and experiment with adding a little bit of the room tone back in for the cleans. So I've got the 412 Mega Cab and then the 412 Room IR. The Room is channel B and the Mega Cab is channel A. And again, let's hear what adding in a little bit of room tone does to your clean tones. I swear, you know, this was more of a high gain focused pack, but I can't shut up about how good these room tones sound. That just dramatically changes the clean tone and it just takes it completely to the next level. You know, so I 100% recommend, you know, trying to add just a little bit of room as, you know, kind of like salt and pepper to your tone can really, really do a lot to elevate your guitar tones. And last up, let's go ahead and listen to my random noodling for a solo. Again, gonna go through these super fast, rapid fire. Let's do it. Man, I'm just so stoked on some of these. You know, I love the character of some of these microphones that come out for the lead playing. Because I love like a good chewy mid range. So some of these have a ton of that. Like the MD421, love that. The M160 again, kind of that real chewy radio effect mid range. The C414, but I mean, like I said, you can go through all of these relatively quickly. You can hear all the different characters that they bring out and kind of pick the ones that kind of catch your ear and serve the song and the tone that you're going for. And then, as I've been saying, adding in a little bit of room really helps your tone, but I think especially for lead tones, it really, you know, kind of smooths things out. You know, playing high notes like this can get a little bit grating on the ears, even with all of these IRs. You know, if you notice, there's no like spiky frequencies. They're not harsh on the ears, but just kind of playing those high notes. You generally want to go for some of the kind of smoother top end things, but just adding a little bit of room, you know, with those high single strings, all of a sudden makes them sound so much bigger, and it kind of sounds like you're in the hallway of a bar kind of listening to the guitar player play. It just adds a bunch of vibe to your solo sound. So let's demonstrate that here. So for solos like this, I would almost go even like a 50-50 blend, just because it does add so much depth to the tone, which again, when you're playing those high whittlies, you need something to kind of thicken things up. So that helps so much. So that is the Hidden Gem IR pack. Hopefully you agree that all of these individually sound amazing and collectively they sound kick-ass. We've really been enjoying all of the positive responses we've been getting from everybody. We've been getting great feedback. People are loving these. So if you want to pick up your own copy of the Hidden Gem IR pack, go to kickass-audio.com. You can get a copy of the full pack, or if you want a free sampler, that's on the website. Again, kickass-audio.com. It's a free IR and arguably the best free IR on the planet. These are absolutely amazing. Go get one. It's free. So hopefully now you see why we're so excited about this and why we think this is the best IR pack on the market. We've done all the hard work for you. You can pick this up or just load up any of the random IRs and go and get absolutely phenomenal tone. And if you couldn't tell, I love nerding out on this stuff. And if you want to continue watching me to nerd out, follow us on all social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and give us a like on all of our other pages. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up, so you're going to want to make sure you follow everything. This is only just the beginning. We have a lot in the works. And so far, like I said, the response has been absolutely overwhelming with these. And with that, that has been your overview of the Hidden Gem IR pack from Kickass Audio. See ya.